Hello and good evening to everyone. Before we start, we just want to say a quick thank you for taking the time out your day, clicking on this video to better educate yourself on the path ahead of you.
Wow, the time has really come. You're finally in college. Take a deep breath. You got this. So today, my classroom and I came up with an idea to make a podcast to better inform you and educate the incoming freshmen. Today's episode is all about something incredibly important: reaching out for support. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out about classes, or you just need someone to talk to, we want you to know that you're not alone. Here at ccsu, there are plenty of services and resources dedicated to support your mental health and well-being.
We know that college life can be a roller coaster between academic pressure, personal responsibilities, and figuring out who you are. It's easy to feel stuck or isolated. That's why this episode is focusing on mental health, knowing the signs when you or someone you care about might need help, and importantly, learning how to act for it. From the counseling and wellness center to peer support groups, there are people on campus who care and who are trained to help you get through tough times. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as showing up for class or studying for finals. It's what makes everything else manageable. So whether you're a first-year student still adjusting to college life, a senior juggling for job searches and responsibilities, or somewhere in between, this episode is for you. Let's talk honestly about mental health, break down the stigma, and give you the tools to reach out when you need to, because at CCSU, help is always here. You just have to ask.
Today, I'm joined with one of the amazing counselors here at CCSU. Would you mind introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your role here on campus?
Hi there, so my name is Victoria Ginter and I'm a counsellor here at Central Connecticut State University working in the Counselling and Student Development Office.
What kind of counseling services are available for students at CCSU?
Well, I really do enjoy this population. I think, when you go to do your Masters in Counselling and you get your licence, the key is finding a population that you really love and that you're really passionate about. So I just really love this age group. It's a connection that I have. It's a time in my life that I really did enjoy college, and it had some ups and downs, right? But I really think working with college students.
What kinds of counseling services are available for CCSU students?
Okay, well, we have wonderful counselling services here at CCSU. It's free and it's confidential. And if students are interested in coming to counselling, they can get quite quick turnaround with appointments right now. Our Director of Counselling has done a really good job at staffing our office. And Dr. Toro, our President of the University, has been very supportive in helping us to get an increase in staff. They just have to call and schedule an appointment. They call 860-832-1926 and they can schedule an appointment, and it's free and it's confidential.
What do you think we could do better as a campus to encourage more students to seek out counseling?
I think your generation actually does a really good job of talking more about mental health than maybe previous generations. So I think that you guys are doing a really good job as a generation, and I think being aware of mental health is something that is becoming less stigmatizing over time, because I think people are talking about it a lot more, whether it's on social media or interviews like this or podcasts. And I think especially after COVID, everyone did focus more on mental health.
This is magnificent because statistics indicate that a significant majority of people experiencing positive outcome from counseling and therapy. Around 75% of individuals who seek therapy show benefits like improving mental health, managing stress, and independent skills.
And even if you don't necessarily want to speak with the counselor, I recommend you speak with somebody. What helped me was friends who have been here longer than me and show me the ropes. Because the first couple months I was receiving homework and didn't even know how to access it. So if they never would have told me, Lord knows how long I would have went without doing homework.
And if you don't have friends that are here already, I suggest you talking to your advisor weekly. Visit and check in for advice. They know everything about programs, rabbit holes, and they want to see you succeed. So they're just another great resource.
How do students typically access counseling services here at CCSU? Can they walk in, or do they need an appointment?
Yeah, okay, it's a really good question. So to come in and get an appointment, you can't text us which is a big thing I tell students, right? We have to call the phone number 860-832-1926 and schedule an appointment, and we're open from 8 in the morning till 5 at night. But you can also leave a message.
Monday to Thursday or
Monday through Friday. We're here 5 days a week. And we also have a really interesting on-call service after hours in the evening and in the weekends and through, we have a protocol crisis on-call service, and that's 860-832-1212. So if a student is struggling and we're not open and they really need to talk to somebody, they can. But yeah, you just call and schedule an appointment, or just come into the Willard de Loreto counselling office, counselling student development as part of student wellness services. Come into the front desk and the staff are more than happy to help you schedule an appointment. And like I said, it's free and it's confidential.
That's a lot of great information. From your experience, what are some common challenges first-year students faces?
Yes, definitely. So first year students, so that's that transition you'll remember from high school to college. It's a big step, right? And I think that students sometimes struggle with that transition, just because I think high school has a lot more structure. It's more back to back, whereas colleges, your schedule could be wide open for the day. You might have 1 or 2 classes. No one's really saying, are you coming to class or are you not coming to class? Like, it's your responsibility to get there. There's a lot of freedom involved in coming to college, and I think for young people, some people are ready for it and can take that responsibility. And other students are like, oh, well, I could maybe just skip class and no one will know. But people do notice, professors usually do take attendance, and then after a while, if you've missed one, you might think it's easier to miss another one, and really that's
becomes
just
a bad
good.
habit.
It becomes a bad habit. It can easily become a bad habit. So I think going to class is really important, but I also think, some people struggle with homesickness, depending on how far away they are from home, if they're living on campus. Some people maybe might need some adjustment, kind of like, with the schoolwork and the demands of college schoolwork, if they have difficult classes that they maybe aren't really particularly good at, like math is a challenge for some students, and I think taking college level math can be tricky. I think also, making new friends and finding your group is not easy for young people to do that. Like, there's all kinds of messages on social media and things like that about what everyone's wonderful life looks like, and really in reality people do take time to build relationships. And so when you're at college, it's a nice thing. It's a blank slate you can start over, a blank slate where you can start over, but it takes time to make new friends.
What would you say to a student who's nervous or unsure about asking for help?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's obviously a difficult thing to ask for help for some people that are maybe proud or maybe a little embarrassed or just a little unsure to take that first step to come and connect with a counsellor. But you have to remember that that's what we're here for. I mean, I have a job and I'm paid to provide services to help students, and that's what I want to be doing, and that's what our staff wants to be doing, and that's the whole reason we exist and why we're here. So we wouldn't exist without students coming to ask for help. So I think it's really important that you remember that when you're coming to schedule an appointment or you are asking for help. And also, some students might be in crisis. And so students are feeling they have any thoughts to hurt themselves or hurt anyone else, or if they've been recently assaulted or anything like that, they don't have to wait for an appointment. They just come in for what we call a more urgent appointment, which is like a triage. I think that was one of your earlier questions that I don't think I answered properly, so I want to make sure we have that.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't have to wait, they'll just be seen right away.
Have you had any student growth or change after using the counseling services here at CCSU?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's where the joy in the work does happen. And obviously, because, we are a confidential service, I can't share specific stories or specific information. And I would love to, but because of confidentiality, I think one of the things is when you come into counselling and you do meet with a counsellor and you open up, that you know that is kept confidential, right? But of course, just generally speaking, students that do put the work in, it's like schoolwork. Like if you put the work in, you get the grade. If you put the work in your mental health and you're honest and you really look honestly at the problems that you're facing and you work through them with the help of a professional person, you're going to grow a lot. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn about what you need to do individually to cope with some of the things. Other ways to look for help on campus, whether it's with academics or social and emotional support, like you said, through connecting with clubs and organisations or becoming a part of the community. I mean, I've seen a lot of students who have just evolved in amazing ways, and a lot of it happens through getting involved on campus, you know, becoming an orientation leader, you know, working in the recreation centre, working in the student centre.
You meet a lot of people that way,
Yeah, working in cool places like the Africana Centre or the, you know, the different centres on campus that help our sort of culturally sensitive and really kind of cool, you know, departments for students to kind of become connected and become employed. I think having a job on campus is a really good way to become connected.
Yeah, I agree. When I first came here, I struggled too. I mostly stayed in my room, played video games, watched TV, because that was what I was used to. But eventually I had to step out my comfort zone, try new things, and check out the new clubs.
But please don't do this and waste your college years. You have 4, maybe 6 to go out there and make new connections, learn new things, take advantage of the resources you are offered, and make an impact on the CCSU community.
My next question is everything discussed in counseling truly confidential?
Well, you know what? I mean, there are some laws around being a licensed professional counsellor, and like the number one sort of thing that we really do want to do is protect people's confidentiality. So yes, most if not all of what's discussed in counselling is confidential. There's some parameters to that, and that's if someone has a plan to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else in a very serious way. And sometimes when people struggle with their mental health and they're really, really not doing well, sometimes a symptom of that can be suicidal thoughts. And sometimes another symptom of that could be hurting someone else that they're struggling with. You know, those things are when I say it just has to be that somebody's in immediate danger. You know, sharing that someone has suicidal thoughts doesn't necessarily mean that won't be kept confidential. But if someone has a plan or an intent to hurt themselves, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with them leaving the office because I'd be worried that they would make a decision they would regret later.
That's understandable.
That's not confidential. And neither is someone who is aware of someone who's being abused or neglected, either socially, emotionally, or sexually. So anyone under 18, a minor, if they're in any kind of abusive situation, that is a mandated report to the Department of Children and Family Services. And really that's really for almost any professional today.
All right.
And finally, wrapping up, what advice would you give to a student who's struggling or hesitant to reach out, especially first-year students just coming into college?
Yes, well, I understand that when you're young and you're new to an environment, and your first year is a lot of ups and downs, and I just want to just say out loud very clearly that that's normal. That anyone that's not having ups and downs and struggling in their first year of college, I mean, I really love the idea of that happening, but really the majority of students, when they're in a period of transition and growth and in a new space, they do struggle in one way or another. It might not be right away, it might be towards the end of the semester or during those stressful periods, or it may even just be at the beginning when they're first thrown into a new environment. But regardless, first year students should absolutely definitely know that asking for help, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's a sign of strength and courage.
I agree,
And also, if you reach out to the counselling services and you connect with a counsellor, we have amazing counsellors here from all different backgrounds. Sometimes it happens that you connect with a counsellor and it really works and it goes really well, and other times it's just maybe not the right fit, and it's important to talk to your counsellor about that, because we do have lots of staff, and our goal is to help students to get the services and the help that they need, and just to gently remind them, you know, we're here just like your teachers are here. Your teachers are here with a purpose to teach your class. And if you don't show up or that class doesn't happen, that person doesn't exist. So to say that we're here for a purpose and that we're here to help students should hopefully ease their mind a little bit. We are very welcoming, and we all really do genuinely love what we do, so it's kind of nice just to come into counselling. And I don't think, I mean, obviously it's hard work, but at the same time it's not intimidating, and we are kind of really nice people.
I agree. I don't think it's intimidating at all.
No.
One last thing, how can we make more students aware of counseling services here on campus?
Well, so we're called, I really like that question as well, because we're called Counselling and Student Development for a reason. So yes, we do work on mental health and that kind of thing, you know, people that are depressed or anxious or struggling with some sort of mental health concern or trauma or substance use problem, right? Those are sort of mental health pockets. But I think the biggest thing is that it's counselling and student development. So we're here for problems that are developmentally appropriate for your age.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, relationship problems, family problems, you know, adjusting to campus like first year students, or, you know, reaching out for support services because you feel in above your head or whatever. Like, we're here to help this specific time in your life, and we have the tools to help. And if we can't help with something specific, we know where to go and who else to speak to. For example, we have accessibility services upstairs, so if students do have a documented disability, they can get accommodations upstairs, and we can help them with that. You know, if students are struggling with stress management, we can send them over to wellness education, and we have like, you know, outreach programs there. There's like pet therapy programs. Like next Thursday, I think it's April 16th, we're going to be having a best self there, and that's a really kind of like fun event for students to attend. It's going to be actually April 15th from 11 to 12 in Alumni Hall. It's a big event called My Best Self, and that's outreach and wellness.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, we have the health centre here too, doctors and nurses that can help people if they're having some physical health problems. So if you have a sore throat, a cough, or bronchitis, or pink eye, and something just relatively minor, the health services are there to help you with your physical health too. So social, emotional, spiritual health, we do all of it here in one way, shape or form, and it's all free. And when I say it's free, I know you pay for tuition and things like that, so coming to CCSU is really technically not free for a lot of people, but you don't have to show your insurance card or pay for a service to come here. It's part of the
tuition,
services that you're entitled to as a student, and that you should use while you're here. You know,
that's great.
a lot of our students love coming to the counselling office and really like that, because finding a provider in the community isn't easy. And for students that don't have insurance, or their insurance plan requires them to pay a lot of money out of pocket, like, you know, young college students don't have a lot of money. Most people are struggling just to kind of, you know, get through college. So balance working and sometimes going to school is not easy. You know, you need money for fun things like going out and going to Chipotle and things like that, and Starbucks, if you're anything like my kids.
Okay, wow. Looking at the time, we don't want to yap your ears off. Those are just a few tips we want to share with incoming students. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments, and I will make sure to answer all of them, no matter what they are. I know the school is boring on the social side, but we got your back academically, because you have everything you need in that aspect. When it comes to fun, you're on your own.
Thanks for watching the first episode of ccsu Declassified College Survival Guide. Subscribe and like the video, and let us know if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. And anything that you wish more students would knew about counselor services on campus?